Hello, my name is Andrew Carapiet. I'm from Media Friendly. I'm a former BBC TV producer, and this is a short presentation on handling crisis media interviews. I have a very simple technique for handling a very serious crisis. The kind of crisis I'm talking about is usually when a death is involved, when somebody has died perhaps in a local hospital, perhaps a tenant has died in a council flat through carbon monoxide poisoning, perhaps an organisation has had to make a huge number of redundancies. It's that kind of very severe crisis. Basically, it's the kind of interview where you're on the back foot, you're on the defensive. It's not the kind of interview where you're trying to be proactive and saying something positive about the organisation. The point is that if you do front up, and I do encourage you to front up and have a human being actually talking to the media, that's the best thing, because you get some credit for actually taking on your responsibilities and speaking to the public and reassuring them. So the basic technique is very simple. I call it the 3 R's. The 3 R's stand for regret, reason and remedy, and it does what it says on the tin. Let's take the first R first of all, the regret bit. I would prefer you to use the S word, to say sorry where possible. Some people, some lawyers, some legal teams discourage spokespeople from using the S word because they think it's admitting liability. I don't agree. I think it's how you say sorry. You may want to say sorry by saying, I feel very sorry for the bereaved family. I feel very sorry that a tragic accident has occurred here. So it's how you actually say sorry rather than just the use of the word sorry. If you can't bring yourself to say sorry, then at least express regret. Let me give you an example. If you take an example from a local hospital where 3 people have died from the superbug, the infection MRSA, that's a crisis, because what tends to happen is the media blames the hospital because the perceived wisdom is that you keep your hospital clean and you don't get MRSA. So the media plays the blame game. So your medical director will have to appear on the local radio program the next morning at 8:10, and someone like me, a presenter, will say to that medical director, how did this happen? How could it happen? Surely you've been negligent. Where is your resignation letter? It's a very tough call. It's a very tough interview. Most medical directors would take the second R, the reason, and explain what happened if asked the question, how did this happen? I say to you, go back a step, express regret first. So the first thing I would say is, can I first of all say that everybody in our team at this hospital is devastated at what's happened. The first thing I want to do is to express our condolences to the families of 3 people who have died under our care, under our watch, in our hospital last night. Now let me answer your question and give you the facts. The facts are, as you correctly reported, that yes, 3 of our patients have died in our hospital last night, but the cause of death is not yet known. I repeat, not yet known. So you've jumped the gun. You've said it's MRSA. We don't know that as yet. So what I've done, and this is part of the remedy, is we've launched an investigation. So we've launched an investigation to try and find out how these patients have died. Not just that, we've also isolated the ward. We've taken a decision to keep this, the rest of the hospital open because it's the only hospital in this city. It treats 100,000 patients a year, but we've isolated the ward. We don't know what the problem is. We know where the problem is. That's why we've done that. So also part of the remedy, you might want to address the issue of MRSA. You might want to say, well, let's discuss MRSA. The facts are 4 out of 5 cases of MRSA are brought into hospitals from outside, either by visitors who do not wash their hands properly, or in some cases by patients themselves. So purely as a short-term measure, purely to reassure patients, the public and our staff, I've decided to limit the number of visitors per patient to 2. So that's something else we've done. And finally, if you look at our website, I've asked my team to update everybody every 24 hours. So on our hospital website, on ourhospital.nhs.uk, you will see an update of how these investigations are proceeding over the next few days. Now, those are the facts. I'm not prepared to speculate. I am prepared to come back on your program tomorrow morning and give you a further update should we have one. So that's the kind of response I want to see you give when you're in a crisis. You follow the 3 R's, the regret, the reason, and you give some sort of a remedy. You talk for about 3 minutes. You offer a local newspaper about 250 words. You offer your regional TV station about a minute, perhaps a minute 30 seconds, so that basically the media have something they can use. And it's as simple as that. I think that you have to actually front up. The public do get a sense of reassurance from somebody with authority who speaks with authority and knowledge. I think that's very important. I've been Andrew Carapiet from Media Friendly. Thank you very much for listening to me.